All right. If you think the title of this video is a headache waiting to happen, you are 100% correct. Welcome, everybody. John Delarose here. Delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. If you are interested in reading a comic book with good superheroes that aren't cringy, you should go to my newsletter and sign up there. I'll leave the link in the description below. You'll get a free graphic novel of Flying Sparks. It's everything you could want out of a Batgirl comic, basically, but better. So go check it out, get some free books, and catch up on the series that is really working to change the culture from this corporate nonsense that they keep spewing. You might wonder, is this just a clickbait? But it's really not. I'm looking at the Bounding Comics into Comics article, and I was curious about this because I thought there's no way they could go that far. As soon as I saw the cover, though, I saw final issue, and I saw, you know what? They're canceling it anyway because they've really gone off the rails with it anyway. Low sales, the typical sort of setup. And so they feel like they can just put in whatever and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't, because there's enough bat simps out there that will buy this no matter what, because this says bat on it, and they have to collect it because my collection. And they will go through and do this. So Bounding into Comics actually does a great job of setting up what the story is and how James Gordon or Jim Gordon or whatever you want to call it starts to mistakenly accuse Batgirl of something because of what he sees. Batgirl gets really upset and emotional. So it starts out trying, the idea is she's reacting to his misreaction. Ironically, and he should have been a better hero or whatever, but he's really being, I guess, idiotic. And that's commentary on of course, police, which starts right there as an issue, but we'll continue into this. Hold on. So so because of that, she has an idiotic emotional reaction and gets mad at police and starts to re-examine our heroes and starts to agree with these masked people pulling down statues. She gets really upset with the people saying leave mom and pop stores alone, and asks, if we need change, is there a right way to do it? And this is really subversive communist propaganda here, because they will justify any atrocity for the cause. And this is exactly what we see in every communist uprising around the world. If you look at, anything China did in its history with Mao and the disgusting millions of people that were killed from it, this is the type of questions that they asked. Is there any one right way to do it? Well, yes, there is. And it's called not murdering people. It's called not looting and rioting and destroying stores. It's called not, supporting drug addicts against, people who are just doing their jobs correctly against said drug addicts. It's ridiculous. But of course, the final conclusion, because this is exactly what they're attempting to do here, every single time to hammer you over the head. They want to talk to whoever about the homelessness crisis and voter registration. Because she can change for the better. If you just vote the way that these DC writers want you to, then they can not hate you as a person. And that's what this comes down to. So it's condescending to the readers. It's condescending to everybody. It's condescending to society, because they're saying, if you don't vote how we want, we're going to have violence and it's going to be justified. And I'm going to join these violent people. And this is exactly what we've been fighting against for a long time. I'm surprised it went this far, this fast. But I guess I'm not. It's been going like this for a long time. But the fact that they're so and unabashed about it, that they don't even really put a story into things anymore. They just put the direct what's going on in the news and then shove Batgirl into it at this point. It's really bad. And the sad part is there's enough people out there who are just going to buy it anyway, just because of what it is. So very sad. Now, on the character level, this is an affront to the characterization. The real person at fault here is the editorial. One, because they shouldn't be hiring amateurs who are just copy pasting news stories. The one thing you learn as a submissions editor, which I did for a while at a magazine, is that everybody tries to get the current events or the popular science article or whatever, and then shove a story into that for what they're doing. And you see like 20 different stories of the exact same thing. It's not fun. It's not fresh. It's not interesting. It's not a good take. It's not brilliant. It's just what every mediocre amateurish hack writer does. And so the first thing you do is you throw out every single story that's like that. And you do that for two reasons. One, I mean, everybody's doing it. So you don't want to be a magazine that is just copying the same content as everybody else. That's not very artistically interesting and doesn't provide a good product right there. But on the second level, you don't want to do something that is just culturally a hot button in the news issue on a direct pinpoint like this, because if you try to read this 2 years later, it doesn't hold up. 5 years later, really doesn't hold up. 10 years later, you go, what the heck are they even talking about? This doesn't even make sense. And so the culture changes rapidly. And so to try to keep up with the current events in the news just makes you kind of, have a product that's very disposable and doesn't have any longevity whatsoever. So that's the first two, politics aside on this, the first two reasons you don't want to do that. Of course, the third reason you don't want to do that is you're going to turn off half the country who is really opposed to this, and more than half the country at this point, because nobody is really into the rioting except for the small extremists handful of people. It's a really bad take to go here at this point and to push this kind of thing. But on the character level, Barbara Gordon is a law and order type of person. She comes from a police family. Police Commissioner Gordon has always been a heroic guy and has always been a really fair guy who is even keeled, is all about evidence and facts. And to portray him as just kind of being dumb about something, and to portray Batgirl as fighting against that right away and not just complying with the law, is really against the character in its core. All of these characters throughout their entire history have been very pro-law, have been very pro-police. It's been a police procedural comic a lot of the time. It's been it came out of detective comics after all. So it's a terrible idea on the character front as well, which is why editorials failed on so many different levels at this point. It's really their fault. You can't blame some amateur writer for writing some hackish story. They're hiring amateur writers, and that's their problem right here. Oh, well. It's really sad to me that at this point in the game, we have this going on. This is how far things are. And yet most of the YouTube community is still just buying these books, sitting down, actually just paying attention to them, and then, trying to hit me personally for, I guess, I don't know what reasons they try to hit me, but they keep doing it rather than attempting to actually change culture from this stuff. But we are actually changing culture over here. We're coming out with monthly comic books, which is something nobody else does on the independent side. You can go check them out right here on Amazon, and you can go to a link which I'll put down below for my series, The Cosmic Warrior. Cosmic Warrior is very, very highly reviewed. It's just a fun alien fight in space. It doesn't have any news, current events in it. You're not going to get bogged down with that sort of stuff. And it'll be a story that stands the test of time, because this is a science fiction tale that has a sense of wonder, has real heroism, doesn't have heroes who are just doing stupid things to further the plot agenda like Batgirl does. It has heroes who are actually good. And that is what we want out of our culture. All right. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon, guys.